The lighthouse on Starfish Bay. Far beyond the rush of the world, nestled on a quiet curve of the sea, there was a little bay called Starfish Bay. The water here was always calm, the sand was soft as flour, and the wind carried the scent of salt, lavender, and distant rain. Most people didn't know about Starfish Bay. It wasn't on any major map. It was the kind of place you only found if you stopped rushing and simply let the world guide you. At the farthest edge of the bay stood an old lighthouse, tall and slender, its white stones faded by years of sea spray and sun. Though ships rarely passed anymore, the lighthouse still shone every evening, soft and steady as though it were waiting for someone. Inside the lighthouse lived an old keeper named Eliot. He was a quiet soul with hair like drifting snow and eyes like the sea before a storm, deep, knowing, and still. Eliot had lived alone for many years, though he never felt lonely. He had the stars, the waves, and the gulls for company. He had a cat named Min who liked to sleep on warm window ledges and bat at shadows. And he had stories, oh, so many stories. Every evening, just before the sun dipped below the horizon, Eliot would light the great lamp at the top of the lighthouse. The golden beam would stretch across the bay and into the ocean, reaching out like a hand for anyone who might be lost. After the lamp was lit, Eliot would make a pot of tea, chamomile and honey, and sit in his favorite chair by the window. The chair creaked just right, like it was singing a lullaby from long ago. Min would curl up in his lap and Eliot would begin to tell a story, not to anyone in particular, just to the night. One night, as autumn painted the world in soft golds and sleepy blues, something unusual happened. A knock echoed at the lighthouse door. Eliot blinked. He hadn't had a visitor in many years. When he opened the door, a small girl stood there, no more than 10. Her boots were muddy, her coat far too big, and her eyes held the same curious glimmer as the stars. She said her name was Luma. "I followed the light," she said. It looked kind. Eliot smiled and nodded. "It is. Would you like some tea?" Luma came inside and Min, the cat, immediately decided she was acceptable. She sat in Eliot's big chair and he made her a mug of sweet tea. As she sipped, Eliot told her the story of a giant turtle who carried an island on its back and only surfaced once every 100 years. Luma listened with wide eyes until she slowly drifted to sleep, the mug still warm in her hands, her breath rising and falling with the rhythm of the waves outside. Eliot carried her to the guest room, the one with the patchwork quilt and the shells on the windowsill, and tucked her in. He looked out the window for a moment. The stars were out, scattered across the sky like sugar on dark velvet. The sea was calm, the wind quiet. Everything was as it should be. From that night on, Luma stayed at the lighthouse. She never said much about where she came from, and Eliot never asked. Some people, he believed, came into your life like starlight, unexpected and gentle, and you didn't need to know how or why. You just needed to let them shine. She became his apprentice, of sorts. She learned how to light the great lamp, how to make tea with just the right amount of honey, and how to watch the waves until they whispered secrets only dreamers could understand. And every night, just before sleep, Eliot would tell her a story. Sometimes about floating cities made of glass. Sometimes about sea dragons that sang lullabies in the deep. Sometimes about clouds that carried letters between worlds. Always gentle, always filled with wonder. Years passed. The seasons folded into one another like pages in a book. And one day the lighthouse stood with its lamp lit, the tea still warm, but Eliot had become part of the sea breeze, gone but never really gone. Luma, now grown and gentle, became the new keeper. She lit the lamp every night, told stories to the stars, and brewed tea with honey. And when travelers lost their way, drawn by the soft, kind light of Starfish Bay, she would open the door and say, "I followed the light once too. Would you like some tea?" And so the lighthouse never slept, the stories never stopped, and the world, though large and often loud, always had one quiet corner where light, tea, and dreams waited patiently for anyone who needed them. You're safe now. Breathe slowly. Let the waves of the story rock you like a boat in calm water. Would you like another story after this one, or shall I stay quiet so you can drift off? Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.